Hi there, everyone. Hope you are doing well. I welcome you to the pre-scene analysis for the strategic case study exam in May 2021 and August 2021. We'll be using the same pre-scene over the two windows. So this video has been specifically created for you to give you a holistic insight into how we must study the pre-scene analysis, how important is the pre-scene analysis, what are the key takeaways from the pre-scene analysis. All of this will be taught to you in this video. This video is the first part of our pre-scene analysis. Our entire pre-scene analysis goes on for about 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes, or 2.5 hours, because it runs you through each and every word of the pre-scene in detail. Because as we know, for the strategic case study exam, you need to have a very good and strong hold on the company. Only then will you be able to suggest strategic directions, strategic matters, give your strategic recommendations. That is only possible if you have a deep understanding of the company. And that is why this pre-scene analysis becomes even more important and a crucial step of your SCS preparation. Now, before we start with the pre-scene analysis, let me tell you that this pre-scene that has been released by CIMA is one of the lengthiest pre-scenes that has ever been released. For a very simple example, the November and February pre-scene, which was Knowledge City Technology Park, was 24 pages. The document released by CIMA was 24 pages. This pre-scene, which is May 2021 and August 2021, the document is 37 pages. So it's a whole lot more information than the previous pre-scenes that have been released. And that is why, again, it makes it very crucial for us to understand what the extra information is, why the extra information is, what's the background information. All of that becomes very important, and hence my pre-scene analysis will run you through all of it in a simple and flexible way to aid your study. Now, before we introduce our students to the pre-scene analysis, what we do is we always first ask our students to go through our industry analysis. Now, the industry analysis is something extra. It's something out of the box that we do for our students to first give them the background of this industry, and then we bring them to the pre-scene analysis. Now, why do we do this? Because it's very logical, because let's say the company that's been given to here is called Arrfield. The company works as an airport operator. Now, do all of us watching this video know what the major goal, major trends, major weaknesses, or major threats in the airport operations industry is like? We don't, right? So that is why, to give you some good background, give you some good details, we first introduce you to the industry analysis. That gives you good ideas, good background about this industry. And then when we bring you to the pre-scene analysis, your mind is already one step ahead, because you will have already good background of this industry, so you can compare better. You can compare, is Arrfield doing what I read in the industry analysis? Can Arrfield do what I read in the industry analysis? Is Arrfield protecting itself from the weaknesses that I spoke about in the industry analysis? So that can only be done by any student if you've done the industry analysis. So that is why we have created a specific industry analysis video as well as PDF, which I would like you all to access first. So how can you access this industry analysis? So what we have done is to give you our industry analysis and to give you a whole lot of other material which will absolutely be very helpful for you to study for this exam. We have created a SCS mini course. It's a mini course which is completely free, which has been created by us for our students. I have left the link in the description below for the mini course. All you have to do is click on that link and you'll be taken to our mini course page, and there you will find all the information that you need for your strategic case study exam. The link is in the description below. You just have to click on it and you will be taken to the page. As part of the mini course, we have lots of material for you. We have the industry analysis, which is very important. I just mentioned it. We have important E3 topic discussions. We have important E pillar revision mind maps. We have important study strategy. How can you study? We have how to write a mock answer. All of that. We have our blueprint explanations, the I can statements explanations, which are one of a kind. All of that is part of our mini course. And if you haven't tried it yet, I urge you to try it. It will really help you with your preparation. And guess what? It's absolutely free. It's something that will really add value to your study. So, my name is Devansh, and I will be the lead tutor for your strategic case study exam. We have been doing strategic case study exams since a very long time, so we have the necessary experience, and obviously we are CIMA accredited and registered tuition providers. So for your strategic case study exam course, my job is to provide a framework that will help you build confidence towards writing this exam in a very easy and flexible way. I will be leading discussions in live class and making sure students are engaged and feel challenged throughout all my lectures. I will show you how to flexibly manage your time while studying, provide a study framework to build confidence, and most importantly, help you ace this exam. All the material has been put together after a lot of research, a lot of hard work, and a lot of commitment, and I'm sure you will find it valuable in your studies. So, without further ado, let's begin with our pre-scene analysis now. So, first, we talk about the introduction of our company, Arrfield. So Arrfield is a quoted company that owns and operates six major airports, four in its home country and two overseas. So after reading this line, let's try and analyze it so it sinks in better. We see that it's a quoted company, means it's a listed company. So because it's quoted and listed, obviously, let's try and keep in mind some benefits and limitations. So some benefits are that we will have easier access to capital for growth because as we learned in the industry analysis as well, this is one of the industries that is going to be high on the capital need side. So this is kind of an advantage for us. It also gives us enhanced visibility because we are a quoted company, we will have a market price for our shares. Our visibility is better. People can see the trajectory, how the company is doing. But on the other hand, there are certain disadvantages as well. Because of being quoted, we will have enhanced reporting requirements, enhanced government and shareholder scrutiny that we will have to take care of. It comes with the territory. So, just for us to keep in mind that you are a quoted company. Also, they tell us that we own six airports in total. Four of them are in my home country, but two are overseas, abroad. So, because we own two overseas airports, this makes us a multinational or a global company. And because we are dealing with different countries, we are dealing with different overseas revenues, operations, topics such as transaction risk, translation risk, which is mainly from your currency risk management chapter in F3, become a reality. So as you can see, while we analyze the pre-scene, we point out important syllabus areas, we point out important company characteristics and specifics, and we present it for you in a simple and easy way so you can follow with us. Moving on, they tell us that you have been given the role of a senior manager in Arfield's finance function. So you are the senior manager, which means you need to look at the long term strategic issues. Your audience is going to be the board of directors, and to give a satisfactory answer, your understanding of the full scale of our business operation is very important. In short, you must know this pre scene material that we are discussing very, very well and in details. So remember, as a senior manager, you will be asked on strategic decisions, strategic issues, risk management, future outlook, your timeline, your planning, will be, taking into account the future of the company. Now, all of these are topics and areas that we have covered as part again of our E3 syllabus. So you report directly to the board and advise on special projects and strategic matters. Everything related to strategy is dealt with in our E3 syllabus. Our field is based in Norland, a developed country that has an active and well regulated stock exchange. So they're giving us further company information and telling us that this company is located in the country of Norland, which is a developed country. Now, let's think, because you are situated in a developed country means that people will be, having the disposable income to spend on services such as using an airport for flying abroad for tourist purposes or business purposes. So this tells me that the demand conditions in this particular industry are going to be quite strong. So this takes me back to the Porter's diamond. This takes me back to why my country, which is Norland, is good for the airport operations industry. So Norland is good for the airport operations industry and for companies like Arrfield because it's a developed economy, because people understand that these nature of services and use these nature of services. So from this we learn that Norland is a highly developed economy, which means people or businesses have the interest and disposable income to use air travel. Also, the government will have superior infrastructure in place to promote the airline industry. We see this in many developed countries. For example, the US, parts of Europe, they have huge and very busy airports and great connectivity. So demand conditions are going to be strong. This is something good for your company because you are situated in a country that is developed, that is supporting your industry. Nolan's currency is the N dollars. So whenever you're quoting something, you're writing a number, just don't write dollars, say N dollars. Nolan requires companies to prepare its financial statements in accordance with the IFRS. Moving on, Nolan is a large country that is surrounded by sea, which means this adds a little bit more to your competitive advantage, to your demand factors as well. Because if anybody wants to travel to Norland, they will either have to take an airplane or travel through the waterways. People generally choose airlines because it's faster, it's quicker, it's sometimes more convenient. So there will be a factor of form competitors that you must keep in mind, that people, if they want to travel, can either choose waterways, can choose airways. So how do you make airways a better option? How do you market airways as a better option and as an airport operator is something that you will need to keep in mind. So a good external market analysis will be important for our industry to understand how more people are convinced to use airports indirectly through the use of airlines. This is also part of our E3 syllabus, which is competitor analysis. So keep in mind that this factor of you being surrounded by sea adds a little bit more to your demand conditions, but gives rise to the form comparators discussion over here. That was our introduction. We now move to the next part, which is airports and air travel. So over here, what they have done is, as part of the pre-scene analysis, they have given you a industry overlook or an overview as part of the pre-scene itself. But guess what? You have already done an extra industry analysis with me, so you're already one step forward. It will be kind of recapping some knowledge, but we will also be learning new and specific stuff. So airports provide the necessary facilities to enable commercial air travel by passengers and the transportation of freight. They generally occupy large sites So airports are generally occupying large sites. Now, if you look at air travel, which is commercial as well as carriage, as well as owning large sites, all of this is again bringing out the capital intensive nature of this industry. Anything that you're going to do, you add another airline which stops at your airport, you add another terminal, you add another freight terminal, cargo terminal, whatever you do is going to be capital intensive. That's going to be the nature. And because we are talking about capital intensive, we need to talk about the different forms of capital or different forms of finance which my company can look at, because there can realistically be an exam question that tells you we are now looking for extra finance or now looking to raise finance. What can we use except for the IPO, or because we are already listed, except for offering new shares? What can we use? So the discussion about different forms of finance really becomes a realistic question, and this is part of our F3 syllabus. As you can see, at every stage, we make sure that you are given highlights and insights into your E3, P3, and F3 areas, because that is important for you to note as well. Moving on, we know that airports offer a variety of service. So let's talk about the different services that an airport offers. The first is runway services. Now, commercial airliners and freight planes require a stable runway that is long enough for planes to land as well as take off. Runways are usually paved with concrete to ensure that they are sufficiently strong. Now, what I pick up from here is because you are running in an airport, obviously, you need to offer a runway, but a runway needs regular maintenance, as health and safety is a major concern for this industry. Now, my suggestion to everyone is as soon as we start the pre scene analysis, always have a word file or a piece of paper with you where you are writing down a number of risks which my company can face. What are the different risks your company can face? Risk management, risk identification is a big part of your SCS exam. So just make it a point from the very beginning to maintain a list of risks. What I see over here is a health and safety concern if the maintenance is not regular, because the calamities that can happen because of any lapse in maintenance is huge over here. Second, airports offer taxiways and apron services. Now, these are some technical words which are being introduced, some technical terms important for us to get to used to it. Now, once on the ground, planes require paved roadways to enable them to taxi and from the runway, and also aprons on which they can park. Taxiways are effectively roadways that are wide enough for to permit aircraft to taxi safely. After landing, to take them to the place where they park is the taxiway. The place where they actually park is called an apron. So aprons are areas of flat ground that allow for freedom of movement and for aircraft parking. Both are usually paved with concrete. Again, regular maintenance. Next, passenger terminals. Now, airport terminals provide all of the facilities required to process departing passengers and their baggage, ensuring that they get to their planes on time for departure. Now, because we are talking about baggage over here, or baggage management, or let's say customer management in this case, let's see how we can improve that service. Now, this is where most companies are developing their competitive advantage. Most airport operators are developing their competitive advantage using softwares, streamlined softwares, big data, and other modern techniques to make the baggage system automated and on time, plus make passenger terminal more friendly and more customer centric. This is where you can develop your competitive advantage. So we already spoke about this part as part of our industry analysis, but just bringing it up for you so that you find the relevance. You see how doing an industry analysis really adds value. Terminals also include the facilities required by arriving passengers in between disembarking from the aircraft to leaving the airport. Now, all of this can be streamlined using softwares, using big data, using data analytics, using modern techniques, and it really enhances the process for the customer. That's where major companies are developing your competitive advantage. Next, airports also offer freight terminals. Now, most airports offer the facilities required to handle air freight. Some aircraft are designed to carry only cargo, but some passenger airlines also carry cargo. Now, freight is one of the growing markets which needs to be looked at because of the global nature of trade in today's modern world. So, again, this is only an industry analysis, remember. So as we go further down this pre-scene, what we will try to find out is, does our company Airfield offer freight terminals, freight cargo terminals? If yes, it's a good thing because how do we expand on it? How do we grow in that industry? If no, then this is a major opportunity that our company must look at. Moving on, airports also offer hangar and maintenance facilities. Now, aircrafts generally require repairs and routine maintenance. Most airports have hangars, which are essentially buildings that are large enough to accommodate an aircraft so engineers can work on it without being exposed to the weather. Now, major airlines often rent hangars for their own exclusive use, particularly at larger airports. So, this becomes an area of extra revenue for the airport. So, again, once we go to our company's operations further down into the pre scene, we'll try to see, are we maximizing on our different revenue sources? If not, this is one that you can suggest. That makes it easier to deal with any technical problem quickly in order to minimize the risk of delaying a departure. That is why most companies generally, most big airlines rent out hangars at major airports. So these are the major facilities that an airport is supposed to offer. Now, airports are divided into two main categories. If it's a commercial airport, it's mainly divided into two categories. It's a hub airport and a non-hub, or I like to call it a subsidiary airport. Now, a hub airport is a main base for one or more airlines. That makes it easier to offer connecting flights, which makes it possible for airlines to offer cheaper and more efficient long haul routes, filling larger aircraft to carry passengers between hubs. For a very, very simple example, if you want to understand it in the real world perspective, it's like what the big company Emirates does. So what you will see, Emirates has a major hub airport in Dubai. So what it will do is it will have flights from all over the world or all over different hub airports, take them to Dubai, and then offer efficient long haul routes. Why is it able to do it? Because of this streamlining. So a hub airport is a main base for one or more airlines. Try to remember it this way. For example, now they have given you an example over here, but my example that I gave for Emirates is also very realistic for you to keep in mind. For example, Norfly is a major international airline that has a main base at Capital City International Airport. So Norfly, major airline, has a main base at a major airport, which is Capital City International Airport. The airline offers return flights between Capital City and many smaller airports. A passenger wishing to fly from Crossline to an airport in the country of Farland could take a short haul Norfly flight to Capital City, connecting to a long haul flight to Farland International Airport. So, from smaller cities in and around, they bring you to a major hub airport and then connect you to a long haul destination. That's the main job of a hub airport, to congregate or segregate all the big, all the small flights into one place and then offer efficient long haul service. For this reason, airlines have something which is called a code share agreement. Now, this enables passengers to book all the flights required for a particular journey to get to a destination through a single airline's website, even though one or more flights are making up that journey, which may be provided by a different airline altogether. To not lose revenue, multiple airlines come together as a code share agreement. So if I want to go from one place to another, and if one airline is not offering that route, what I can do is I can still book from that website, reach halfway, and then take another airline to reach my final destination. All of this can be booked through one website only. This is called a code share agreement and helps generate revenue. For example, a booking from Crossline Airport to Farland Greentown, which is a smaller airport, might involve Norfi flights to Capital City International and Farland International, then followed by a smaller flight to reach that small destination, or I will say non-hub airport. All of this can be booked from one website only. Norfly and Air Farland have a code share agreement, and so this whole journey could be booked in a single transaction through either airline's website. It becomes easier for the customer, it's easier to track for the customer, might be less costly for the customer, plus it generated revenue for these two companies that came together. Code share agreements are important to airports because they give passengers a much wider range of potential destinations. It's good for you as well, right? Because as an airport operator, if the passenger has endless possibilities to go to endless places because of these connecting flights, he chooses your airport often. So that was a hub airport. Now, what is a non hub or a subsidiary or a spoke airport? Now, a non-hub or spoke airport will generally offer short-haul flights to and from hub airports. Like we said, from all the, if you want to go to a place from your small airport or from your spoke airport, you are taken to the hub airport and then dispersed around the world. If you're coming back home, you come into the hub airport, then take a smaller flight to your spoke airport and then just go back home. So these are also very important in the connection process, as you might have figured. For example, business travelers who live close to Eastern Regional International Airport can fly to Southern Regional Airport or Capital City International for meetings. There are no long haul services from this small airport. If you want a long haul service, you need to go to the international airport and then take your flight from there. Non-hub airports generally offer short-haul flights. Hub airports offer a mixture of both short and long haul. So to help you better understand this, we have a diagram over here. So the country of Norland is over here. If you look at the country of Norland on the top right-hand corner, you will see that Central City International is your hub airport. Southern Regional Airport, Eastern Regional Airport are spoke airports. From Capital City International, you can go to Eastern Regional Airport, you can go to Southern Regional Airport, and you can go to other countries as well, which is Farland and Sealand. From these smaller airports, you can only travel within the country generally. So Eastern Regional goes to Capital City. Southern Regional goes to Capital City. Only flights from Capital City are going to different parts of the world, different countries. And that's the same with Farland. That's the same with Sealand as well. So if you look at Farland, it's the same story. All of these spoke airports get you to Farland International Airport. If you want to travel abroad, you will have to use the international airport only. In technical terms, the red circles are called hub airports, the yellow circles are called spoke airports. All of this is only being explained to you so that when we learn the operations of our company, you know these technicalities. As we move on, we speak about flight operations. Now, an airport's design will affect the number of flights that it can handle and its ability to deal with passengers and freight. So, positioning and airport design becomes very important for you as an airport operator. Arrfield owns and operates six major airports and is located in a developed country. This can be seen as a competitive advantage for me, right? Because I can handle more flights, more people are interested in flying. So there will be more flights giving me more revenue opportunities. So again, positioning yourself in a correct city which has good demand, plus the design of your airport becomes very important. Air operations are dictated by the size and the number of runways. Larger aircraft require longer runways to give them room to accelerate. Ideally, runways will be oriented so that the prevailing wind blows along them. It's easier for airplanes to take off when they are flying off with the wind. That increases the airflow over the aircraft wings and makes it easier for them. Airports can have more than one runway as well. The runways may also be offset at angles that gives the air traffic controllers the ability to vary flight paths in response to weather conditions and to manage the noise pollution caused by flight operations. So over here, sustainability and environment consciousness has been a big criticism of this industry. How can our company try to reduce the noise pollution? As we move to our company operations, we'll try to keep in mind. Does my company take account of this? Does my company keep this in mind? So, this is one risk factor which we need to always keep in mind. And hence, identifying your risks is a major part of the SCS exam. And I want to make sure that you are collaborating a risk list from the very beginning. Next, we speak about passenger facilities. Now, the terminal building will also reflect the type of aircraft and the number of passengers that can be processed. For example, large aircraft can carry more passengers, and so they need better boarding and disembarkation becomes a priority. So, again, your positioning, your airport design is very important. Many airport terminals have gates that are equipped with bridges that permit passengers to enter or leave an aircraft. All of us have taken an aircraft, so we know how it works. The alternative to these bridges is a tow mobile stair, which takes you from the ground level. You need to climb those stairs and enter into an aircraft. So, airports are now looking more and more towards customer satisfaction as we learned in our pre-scene and industry analysis. So you want to make the entire process easy and smooth for the passenger. You don't want passengers to wait for the bus, get you to the airport, and then climb the stairs. Rather, the passenger sits in an air-conditioned room or a check-in space and then directly boards their aircraft. So now when you think about an airport operator, you need to think about it from the perspective of the customer. How do we make it better for the customer? These terminals that we are speaking about are designed to encourage the safe, secure, and efficient flow of passengers. So these three, we can say, safety, security, and efficiency, are the major thresholds to the success of an airport and hence become important for our company. Again, safety, security, and efficiency. Departing passengers must carry a boarding pass in order to proceed through airport security and also so that they can board the aircraft. It's just standard procedure. Boarding passes can be downloaded to mobile phones by the app before arriving the airport, but most airlines offer either staffed or automated check-in facilities. So over here now, as we move on, we are talking about standard airport procedure.
which is important again just from the perspective of technicalities for us to keep in mind.
So, speaking about standard procedure, it's what all of us have experienced when we go to an airport. If passengers have suitcases or other large items of baggage, then they will check those in when they arrive at the airport. Airline tickets usually specify the weightage of the baggage that you can carry. If it's within the weightage when you check in, it's okay. If you are going above the allowed weight, they will ask you to pay an extra fee. Once passengers are checked in and have deposited their hold baggage, they must proceed through airport security. That ensures that the passengers are not carrying anything that is harmful. The areas of the terminal that are open to the public are known as land side, which people can go to as part of the terminal is called land side. These include check-in areas and other facilities for departing passengers. They also include spaces for those accompanying the departing passengers and meeting the arriving passengers. All of these are called land side operations. So, another technicality to keep in mind, but it's just standard operating airport procedure which they're telling us over here. Moving on, they are telling us that passengers are advised to arrive at the airport well before their flight, and so most airports provide retail and catering facilities. Airports usually rent retail and catering spaces to third parties. In many countries, tax laws permit retail sales to passengers who are traveling to foreign destinations to be duty free, which means they are exempt from sales taxes. Retailers can then pass on some or all of the benefit of that tax reduction to the passenger so that more people buy. The more revenue it generates for the retailer, the more retailers will be interested in a shop at the airport, and automatically it increases the demand for your product, which is space of the airport that you own or space at the airport that you own. So, what I am gathering out of this is if I have superior information display, it will be adding comparative advantage here. So, if I have boards or if I have signs or if I have good accessible areas on my landside operations, it becomes a comparative advantage for my business, right? So, whether you want to keep people moving, create traffic, to create revenue opportunities, a well designed information display system is key. So, one of the many comparative advantages you can generate. Next, airport terminals must also cater for the needs of arriving passengers. In order to be permitted to offer international flights, airports must provide adequate facilities for border control and checks. So, you will have to provide these facilities to make sure that you are able to offer international services. Baggage must also be checked by customs and other government agencies to ensure that prohibited items are not entering the country. Hub airports must cater for the need of transit passengers as well, which means they are laying off in your country. They're not getting off the airport. They are laying off in your country's airport, but they are flying off directly to another country who are waiting for their onward flight. That usually involves elaborate again retail and catering facilities. It includes lounge and leisure facilities. So, all of these are areas or customers that a particular airport operator needs to look at because it can help him maximize his revenue, increase his revenue. Moving on, we have created a supplementary reading document for you. Now, this is something that we generally try and create extra for my students because we feel that we need to give you some background before we give you any details or before we introduce a new subject or a new topic for you. So this is supplementary reading. This information is not part of the pre-scene, but we feel it's important for you to read to get a better perspective. So until now, we have been mentioning repeatedly about using an airport software for seamless integration, seamless efficiency. So how does this software really work? To show it to you, I have curated a diagram of the internet. You will see that the software is at the center. So airport operating business software is at the center. This software feeds in information from different information management parts, such as your information displays, such as your flight plans, flight paths, comes into the software. This software also gets information from airside operations, which is your air traffic control, which is your apron handling, which is your maintenance centers. This software also gets information from landside operations, which is your terminal management, passenger facilitation, and this software also gets information from boarding, invoicing, billing, customer feedback, customer sales. All of this feeds information into the software, and then this software is able to collaborate, is able to analyze, and is able to provide a set of data that will help you run this entire elaborate airport operations that we are speaking about. So most airports are now functioning with the help of seamless and well integrated softwares. And for that software to be well integrated, for everything to run smoothly, various information points are required. That will be invoicing, billing, airside operations, landside operations, and information management. This is a major opportunity for the examiners to ask E3 digital revolution topic questions. We must revise this area well. It's majorly part of your E3 syllabus, such as machine learning, AI, big data analytics. All of this is part of your E3 syllabus greatly. So it must be analyzed. So what does the future of airport operations look like? First, seamless passenger flow, up-to-date information, and air traffic management are keys to a successful airport. It's just day-to-day general jobs, I would say. But in the next 3 years, airport IT operations will focus on cloud solution, business intelligence, cybersecurity, major parts of your E3 syllabus. Let's briefly look at the future of those trends. First, passenger self-service solutions. Now, as airports are striving to reduce wait time, they're investing in a variety of self-service solutions. These will include check-in kiosks, automated boarding gates, baggage drop, but they are now also starting to include facial recognition, mobile integration, and biometric ID management. These are what airport futures are looking like. So when we start looking at our airport operations, we'll see, are we looking at future investment? Are we looking at future prospects of our airport? Are we investing in these? Are we looking at these opportunities? Next, airports are also using business intelligence. Now, airports are planning to improve operations using BI. 80% of them are planning to use BI in passenger processing and flow management. So BI is being used to manage customers' experience in a better way. Next, artificial intelligence. So airlines already use AI and data management in many operations, but they are now starting to be used in customer service. Making sure because of AI, making sure because of predictive analytics, you are able to give customers what they want. And next, and the most important threat, or I would say opportunity in this modern world, is cybersecurity. Because most of the airports improve cybersecurity investing in staff education, but cybersecurity is an ongoing threat. The airport handles so much data. So if there were to be a data leak, if there were to be a data hack, then it's going to be a major catastrophe, because huge quantities of data, huge quantity of personal government data as well is at stake, because the airport has customs data, import duties data, has different customer data, because everybody's connected to the airport in some way. So these are major trends that airports are now looking at. When we move to our operations, these are some ideas that you must keep in your mind. Now we go back to the pre-scene. So coming back to the pre-scene, Boarding passes and identification, continuing with the operations in the normal airport operating industry. So the areas after security are known as airside. So everything before security is called landside. Everything after security becomes airside because these are passengers that are actually going to fly. Public access to airside is restricted. Each boarding pass has a barcode that can be scanned optically. Boarding passes are checked at security to confirm that the holders are eligible to travel. So, as we can see, lots of data is assessed and managed by an airport. Seamless software systems will be a key comparative advantage for us over here, because if there is any issue as part of the airport operating software where the boarding pass does not get scanned, where a customer wrongfully enters a plane, where an incorrect person enters the plane, or an unidentified person enters the plane, it's going to be a big security issue. So seamless softwares become key for any airport operator, and it can cause huge delays. And in the airlines industry, delays is equal to money lost. They are also scanned at retailers' point of sale to ensure that sales tax is charged to passengers taking the domestic flights, and also to collect data that can be used for marketing purposes, such as identifying frequent travelers and tracking their buying habits. So, as you can see, opportunities for big data and data analytics can be something that is looked at by a service, as a service rather, from the airport operator. So let's say because your airport has a seamless software, you issued a boarding pass. Obviously, the boarding pass is scanned by a customer to buy a particular chocolate. Now, you as the airport will be intimated, the retailer who sold will be intimated. So, can you, as an airport operator, offer extra big data or data analytics services to retailers to make sure that both benefit? Because it's a mutually beneficial relationship, right? So, just an extra aspect where I am looking at big data as a revenue generation source for this airport operating industry. Just a point that comes to my mind, so I'm happy to elaborate it for you guys. Finally, boarding passes are scanned when boarding to confirm that the passengers are on correct flights. Airport employees and staff employed by retailers and others who work airside must also pass through security, and they wear identifiable badges. Security badges have RFID, which is radio frequency identification chips, embedded in them that can be read by electronic scanners built into door locks. Locks are programmed to restrict access to those having an authorized badge only. So, hope you've been listing down a various list of risks in this industry or business that it's prone to. Over here, let's say somebody gets hold of an RFID tag of another employee and accesses airside operations. Again, it can be a big security issue. So hope you've been listing down all of these risks just as, points. So once we go deeper into the pre-scene, we are going to analyze an entire risk register or number of risks which is given as part of the pre-scene. So if you already have a list of your own, you'll be able to compare, you'll be able to add, you'll be able to question. So that is why we say risk management is a big part of the SCS case study exam. So just make a note of it. So with that, we have come to the end of the first part of our pre-scene analysis. And as you will have found, it was very informative. It ran you through the important parts of the pre-scene. It ran you through the important syllabus areas from E2, P2, and F2. For our full pre-scene analysis, which is a total of 2 hours or 2 hour 15 minutes, and to access our full material, that includes each and everything that you will require for your case study, you can write to us on help@finntutors.com. That's our email. Or you can reach me directly, because our personal attention is something that all of our students value, and we will give you the information on signing up with us. For more details, you can also log on to our website, our MCS page. You can chat with us and you can get your doubts solved and you will see that it's a very, very clear, simple, and easy process that makes sure that a student is supported throughout their study with us. So I hope you have found this helpful.